Assalamu alaikum students and welcome you all. Good afternoon. And today is the new class with new topic. And we have already started our second part of the course. In previous lecture, we have discussed very much important related topics of Qanun Shahadat. I hope you have studied it at your home for further understanding. And in order to move further, it is necessary you have to study at home a previous article because each article is related with the next upcoming articles. So there are three main topics we are going to discuss today and today's lecture, and which is divided into session. First session, which is called break. In first session, we are going to learn the three articles, which are article number 111, 112, and 113, and which is related with the in first part we have learned what are the facts and what are the relevant facts. In second part, which is related with the which facts need to be proved before the court and which facts court has to take the judicial notice. So two things we are going to learn in this phase of study. One is the what is judiciable notice, what is the facts of judiciable notice, and judicial noticeable facts, and what facts which are admitted need not to be proved. So which facts need to be proved before the court and which facts court shall take judicial notice. So that this chapter starts from the article 111, which is the part two of we have completed part one of the Qanun Shahadat, which consists of the sixth chapter and onwards from today. And this is the part two, which is on proof. So it is more evident from heading of the this part, okay, how to prove, how to lead, how to produce, and which facts need to be proved and which facts need not to be proved, which court has to take judicial notice of those facts. So if the facts are very much strong and very the prima facie thing has been established by the producing of the fact, then court will take the judicial notice. And initially, court is not required to ask the existence of those facts. So it is the duty of lawyer to establish initially build their cases on these strong facts on which court will take judicial notice. So in part two on proof, which there is a chapter number 7, which facts need not to be proved. वो कौन से फैक्ट्स हैं जिनको साबित करने की जरूरत नहीं है, जो कि कोर्ट उसका जुडिशियल नोटिस लेगी एज पर दी आर्टिकल नंबर 111. Now I'm taking you towards that slide, and these slides already uploaded in our class. I hope you have downloaded it. So the provision regarding the facts which need not to be proved, there's a introduction. It is the general rule that the party to the suit must prove his case by producing oral or documentary evidence. There are two mode of method by which parties will prove their facts. Number one, oral facts proved by the reading any oral evidence, or documentary any fact which is content of any document. Then that fact has to be proved by primary evidence, primary document by itself before the court of law. So part two of the Evidence Act deals with the manner in which facts received in evidence under part 1, which may be given in an evidence. So part 1 जो है उसमें जो है किस मैनर से फैक्ट्स रिसीव होते हैं बिफोर द कोर्ट आपका। तो पार्ट 2 जो है वो हमें हेल्प करता है कि उस फैक्ट्स को फिर हम किस तरह प्रूव करेंगे। The party who wishes to court to believe in the existence of a fact must prove it. अब पार्टी की ख्वाहिश होती है कि कोर्ट उनकी जो बताई हुई बातों पे, उनके बताए हुए केस पे यकीन कर ले, उसकी एग्जिस्टेंस को मान ले। तो इनिशियली पार्टीज को वो प्रूव करने होंगे, कोर्ट को कन्विंस करना होगा कि वो फैक्ट्स जो है कोर्ट उनको एडमिट कर ले। So chapter 7 containing the section 111 to 113 evidence acts lays down the provision relating to the facts which need not to be proved. Section 111 says that facts in respect of which court must take judicial notice need not to be proved. And facts judicially noticeable need not to be proved, Article 111, which says that no fact of which court will take judicial notice need be proved. So the word judicial notice, what is the word judicial notice? Signifies notice on recognition of the truth of the facts taken by a judge without requiring proof by any evidence. The very obvious reason is that such facts are supposed to be within the knowledge of the judge, and any attempt to prove them would virtually be undermining the competence of the court. Initially, part 1 with what facts may and what facts may not be proved in the civil and criminal case. Part 2 deals with the question what sort of evidence must be given of a fact which may be proved. The part shows the manner in which a fact in issue or relevant fact must be proved. All facts in issue and relevant facts must be proved by the evidence, either oral or documentary. To this rule, there are two exceptions. Number 1, facts judicially noticeable and facts admitted. So in the case, what we have understand from this article, in the case of the facts dealt with this article, the judges' belief in their existence is induced by the general knowledge acquiring otherwise. Then in particular proceedings before the court and independently of the action of the parties therein. The meaning of the article will, however, be apparent if we consider together with the article the last word of the article 112. Further, we will understand this article by reading the contents of the language of the article 112, because in this article, in article 111, says that court must all the facts in issue and relevant facts must be proved by the evidence, either oral or document, but court must take the judicial notice of those facts which are apparently prove and giving any general knowledge, which are incorporated, which are attached with the cogent evidence. So court must take, this is the discretionary power of the prudent mind of the judge or court, and court may ask the party, or it is the duty of advocate, it is the duty of party, they get the knowledge from the judge whether the fact which is present before the court has been proved and the existence has no any question. If advocate or party consider it, there's some if and buts arises in the prudent mind of the judge, then party must or advocate must prove those facts which are they are relying their case. So what those two provisions really come to in this with regard to the facts enumerated in Article 112. If their existence comes into question, the parties who assert their existence on the contrary need not in the first instance produce any evidence in support of their assertions. They need only ask the judge to say whether these facts exist or not. And if judge's own knowledge will not help him, then he must look the matter up. Further, the judge can, if he thinks proper, call upon the parties to assist him on those facts, as I earlier said. So if party or advocate deems fit that whether his facts which are not considered by the court, then that it is the duty of party or advocate, they must prove those facts which are they are relying. If he thinks proper, call upon the parties first. But making this investigation, the judge is emancipated entirely from all the rules of the evidence laid down for the investigation of facts. In general, he may resort to any source of information which he finds handy and which he thinks will help him. Thus, he may consult any book or obtain information from any other source. So there are two things which we can get from this discussion is that relevancy of the evidence and mode of the proof. What is the relevancy of the evidence and what is the mode of proof? There are two different things. In first part, which we have learned that what are the facts which are fact and issue and which are the relevant facts. In this part, we are going to learn what are the mode, what are the method to prove those facts. So there are two. This is the different. So when any fact, whether the fact and issue, whether fact and law, first court will see that the existence of those facts. Thereafter, court will decide the matter in the favor of the parties. Article 112 will help us all the fact and law, issue of the law, which must, the word shall has been used in the Article 112, which means it is the binding on the court. Court shall take judicial notice of those facts. Or Article 111, which is related with the relevant facts, and article which is near understandable after discussing the Article 113. अब Article 113 ये कहता है कि जो facts admitted हैं, factual controversy की बात हो रही है, those facts need not to be proved. कुछ facts, अब इसमें तीन चीजें आ गई ना, एक तो judicial notice, दूसरा admission. अब जुडिशियल नोटिस जो है वो कोर्ट लेगी, उसका जुडिशियल नोटिस कोर्ट विल जो है अपने प्रूडेंट माइंड जो है उसको अप्लाई करेगी बाय producing of the underlying of the facts by the parties, whether parties possess very much strong facts, and if facts are weak, then parties will rely the strong piece of evidence to prove the existence of those facts. So the thing what you have to understand: judicial noticeable and facts admitted, and relevancy of fact. What facts are relevant to the fact and issue? So in this regard, Lord Stephen observes in his introduction that certain facts are so notorious in themselves or are stated in so authentic manner in well-known and accessible publications that they require no proof. The court, if does not know them, can inform itself upon them without formally taking evidence. These facts are said to be judicially noticed. अच्छा, इसमें ये हो सकता है कि जिस तरह कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन पिटीशंस हैं, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन पिटीशन ऑलवेज rely on the facts which can be proved by the judicial notice. If any fact when within the constitutional petition which facts required to be proved, thereafter the jurisdiction of the constitutional court will be shaky. कि उस तरह जब हम हाई कोर्ट में कोई डायरेक्ट केस लेके जाते हैं अंडर द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल पिटीशन, उसमें वो फैक्ट्स जो हैं वो आपको ज्यादा आपके मैटर में रिलायबल होते हैं, जो जुडिशियल नोटिसेबल जो है वो उसके उस पर कोर्ट जो है उस पर नोटिस ले सके. अदरवाइज अगर कोई फैक्ट ऐसा हुआ जिसको कोर्ट को लगा कि ये दिस फैक्ट नीड टू बी प्रूव, देयरआफ्टर कोर्ट विल सेंड बैक इट टू द ट्रायल कोर्ट फॉर, बिकॉज हाई कोर्ट में कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन पिटीशन में एविडेंस का कोई मोड और मैनर नहीं होता, वहाँ एविडेंस डिस्कस होती है. वहाँ एविडेंस की रिलेवेंसी जो है वहाँ पे उसको आप क्वेश्चन कर सकते हैं, लेकिन प्रूव आप नहीं कर सकते। अगर कोई फैक्ट जो है वो वहाँ पे रिक्वायर्ड हुआ कि इस फैक्ट को हमें अभी यहाँ पे प्रूव करना है, कोर्ट कहेगी कि नहीं, इसकी एग्जिस्टेंस को आप प्रूव करें, तो फिर उस बुनियाद पे भी वो फिर उस एम्बिट से, उस स्कोप से जो है वो बाहर आ जाता है। So in order to understand the correct meaning of the section, Article 111 and Article 112, they should be taken together. Section Article 111 lays down what when a fact which is relevant in a case is of such a nature that the court must take judicial notice of it. No evidence in a proof of it should be given. Article 112 gives a list of the facts which court must take judicial notice. Article 112 जो है उसमें list of facts has been provided of which court will take the judicial notice which is mandatory. इसमें जो list of facts provided किए गए हैं Article 112 में कि facts of which must take judicial notice. इन फैक्ट्स का कोर्ट जो है जो इसका कोर्ट जो है उसका जुडिशियल नोटिस जो है उसको लेगी। तो ये तो कुछ बेसिक जो है डिस्कशन थी इस आर्टिकल की। नाउ इन ऑर्डर टू अंडरस्टैंड फर्दर व्हाट यू हैव टू डू नाउ, अब तुम्हें एक एक्टिविटी आई एम गिविंग यू कि मैं आपको भी एक एक्टिविटी दे रहा हूँ और इसके साथ में एक केस लॉ दे रहा हूँ कि 1988 CLC 2228 पेज नंबर है इसका। इसमें एक डिस्कशन है कि रिलेवेंसी ऑफ एविडेंस एंड मोड ऑफ प्रूफ का डिफरेंस क्या है। तो अभी केसला में भी अपलोड कर रहा हूँ, उस केसला को अभी आपने स्टडी करना है और जो ये एक मेन ग्राउंड है और उसका डिफरेंस है उस केसला में अगर डिस्कस हुआ है तो उसकी अपनी समरी बना के व्हाट यू हैव अंडरस्टैंड रिगार्डिंग द रिलेवेंसी एंड मोड ऑफ प्रूफ ऑफ द एविडेंस, तो उसको अपने लैंग्वेज पे अपने अल्फाज में आपने लिख के अभी इसको अपलोड करना है और विद इन आपके पास सिर्फ 15 मिनट है। तो उसको अगर आप केसला को डिस्कस कर लेंगे तो देयर आफ्टर उसके बाद जो हमें फर्दर जो हम आर्टिकल नंबर 12 में जो लिस्ट ऑफ फैक्ट्स एंड प्रोवाइडेड है उसको हम स्टडी करते हैं और उसको हम डिस्कस जो है फर्दर उसको हम डिस्कस भी करते हैं। So students, I'm going to share with you a case law or page number which you are required to study and thereafter make the summary of that case law. तो उसके बाद उसको आप अगर इसको कर लेंगे तो उस पर फिर हम इस डिस्कशन उसको ओपन करते हैं।